Hi, I'm Angela Murray, SHRM SCP, SPHR, and your favorite HR coach. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. In the past, I've given you tips and strategies to choose the correct answer. But today, I'm going to break down why exam candidates choose the wrong answer, and I'm going to tell you how to avoid that. I've been coaching exam candidates for a long time now. And there are some common themes that I consistently have to correct in my one-on-one sessions and in my prep classes. I'm going to give you 3 of the most common, and I'm going to tell you how to fix it. Mistake number 1 is overthinking the question. A lot of test takers spend too much time overanalyzing every word of the question, reading into the question what isn't there, and adding facts that don't exist. Because of that, they choose the answers that take action that is inappropriate for the scenario. Let's look at an example. An employee claims a coworker is intentionally excluding them from important project discussions. The accused employee insists they were unaware this was an issue. What is the most appropriate next step? A says, review the company's anti-harassment policy with both employees to ensure compliance. B says, schedule a mediation between the employees to foster collaboration and avoid escalation. C says, assign the coworker to a different team to prevent further conflict. And D says to gather input from other team members and review communication records. Now, at first glance, this might seem like a simple communication breakdown, and we know that most communication issues can be solved with meetings and collaboration. But in this scenario, that might not be the case. Now, sure, it could be a communication issue, but it could just as easily be intentional, just like the coworker said. We won't know until we investigate. That is why the best next step is to gather more information. Now, mediation is a lot of the times we think of it as kind of like the HR go-to when we're trying to resolve conflicts. And I get that. It does sound proactive, like you're jumping in to fix the problem before it becomes something bigger. But the thing about that is, just because you schedule a mediation doesn't mean it's going to solve the problem. In fact, it could escalate the problem. And this is where that overthinking comes into play. You start adding all these facts to the situation that are not there. Like if we do a mediation, it'll stop the problem before it gets out of hand. Says who? Where's that written? What if it actually needs to be escalated? Or maybe you think if we just move the employee to a different team, then there you go, the problem is solved. But what happens the next time they're on a team together? Or worse, what if the excluded employee feels retaliated against for speaking up and they feel like they shouldn't be moved to another team? So the thing is, what we have to do is figure out whether this is an intentional exclusion, a communication issue, or just an oversight. That's the foundation. Once we know what's really going on, then we can fix the problem the right way. Maybe it's something as simple as a meeting, or maybe it's something deeper. Maybe it's discrimination, or it could be just an issue of poor organization where the team member needs some kind of training or some kind of development. We won't know until we jump in and get the facts. So the key takeaway here, don't read too much into the question or make any assumptions. Take it at face value, focus on what's actually in front of you, and don't add things that aren't there. Mistake number 2 is focusing on irrelevant details. Now, sometimes questions do include extra details there to distract you from the main issue. And if you're not careful, you get caught up in the fluff and you miss the point of the actual question or the core problem that has to be addressed. Let's look at an example of that. A team is behind on delivering a major project due to a delay in receiving necessary resources. During a team meeting, one member raises concerns about the timeline, while another mentions that the project budget is nearing its limit. As the HR professional, what should you recommend first? A says schedule a follow-up meeting to assess the project budget in detail. B says recommend reallocating resources from other projects to meet the timeline. C says encourage the team to work overtime to make up for the delay. And D says to meet with the project manager to discuss how to address the resource delay. Now pause the video right here because I'm about to give you the answer. The correct answer is D. Meet with the project manager, discuss how to address the delay. Now, did you choose D? Did you see the mention of the budget and then start focusing on that and include that in your decision making? If so, that could have led you to pick A. But again, that's just a distractor. The budget is just a passing detail. It is not the root of the problem, and it really has no bearing on the solution to the real problem. So instead of focusing on the resource delay, you might start overanalyzing, and you may think, well, what if overtime is the best option because the budget is tight? And you could end up choosing C. And it's just that easy to get sidetracked and end up totally confused. You can talk yourself right out of the right answer very easily. I've been there. So identify the core competency that's being tested. Is it decision making or leadership or ethics? Then highlight or either try to mentally underline the key issue and ignore the fluff. Pick out the key details, pick out the core problem, and focus on that. Mistake number 3 is getting carried away with kindness. Now, it's true that the questions do lean heavily toward employee support and employee well-being, but you have to remember that there is a balance. We need to balance the employee support with the organizational strategy. So as you start studying for the SHRM exam, you might start to notice that not many answers will punish employees or fire employees, and that can sometimes lead test takers to lean toward answers that only support employees because you feel like that's what SHRM wants you to do. But that's not entirely true. Let's look at another example. An employee has consistently been late submitting reports, citing personal challenges at home. Their manager has noticed a decline in team productivity due to delays in the reports. As the HR professional, what is the most appropriate response? A says allow the employee to submit reports late temporarily to accommodate their personal challenges. B says meet with the employee to discuss the challenges and set a clear plan for improvement. C says to reassign the employee's reporting duties to another team member to reduce the stress. And D says to advise the manager to issue a formal warning to the employee for failing to meet deadlines. Now, if you fall into the overkindness trap, you might have picked A because allowing late submissions feels empathetic and it feels accommodating. It feels kind, and it may seem like an HR thing to do. It may feel like a SHRM thing to do. But if the employee is struggling, showing flexibility might boost morale and make them feel supported. But how is that going to impact the organization's goals? Or even if you choose C, because reassigning duties probably does feel like it could solve the immediate issue and reduce stress for the employee, it might seem like a nice compromise. But remember, there has to be a balance. SHRM questions do test your ability to balance empathy and accountability. And while it is important to support the employee, you also have to ensure that productivity and team performance are maintained. B reflects a strategic approach. It addresses the issue directly with the employee. It also understands, what their challenges are. It sets expectations for improvements, and it strikes that perfect balance. A and C might feel kind, but they don't address the root cause or create a long-term solution. And D, it just skips the opportunity for coaching, any kind of development. And so B feels best aligned with HR practices. So when you're answering the questions, ask yourself, what action benefits both employee and organization in the long run? Focus on the competencies. Look for answers that demonstrate leadership and problem solving, accountability, not just kindness. We are looking for strategy. And that's that. Identifying the wrong answer and understanding why it's wrong is just as important as identifying the right answers. It's a good piece that a lot of exam candidates miss. But if you need more follow up on this video, just let me know in the comments if I need to expand on anything, or if there's anything a little bit still confusing to you. Just let me know and I can make a part 2 to this, because I feel like I have more to offer in this topic. All right, see you next time. Bye.